It is awfully lonely now. It is
quiet.
awfully lonely.
I'm not really sure what to do.
What's up, guys? Welcome into the DNVR Nuggets podcast, the DNBA show. We are presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Make sure to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code DNVR when you sign up. I'm Harrison Wynn, hosting again today alongside Mr. Brendan Vogt.
This is our first in-person two-man game. We always do this over the telephone.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Of course, we got super producer Kale with us today. I saw Michaela just walk in the door, but other than that, there's nobody else in this office / bar right now.
Literally. Did something happen? Did we not get a memo?
There's like a gas leak in here. We're not supposed to be in here, but here we are.
Yeah. Hey, 2's all we need. 3, because I can't forget about you, Kel. I love you.
We got a fun show coming up. We actually got a lot to get to today. A lot to get to. We're going to do a mailbag portion of this show because we didn't get to that on Monday. We're also going to do a bonus podcast today for DNVR members where we're going to get to mailbag questions from the Discord. So that will be up on thednvr.com after today's show ends and it's posted. We've also got just some little Nuggets news items to get to. Kenyon Martin coming to Summer League?
Whoa, Kmart.
Player or as a coach? We'll find out. Bowl, the mixtape's dropping. We got a summer hype reel of Bowl.
I'm actually in that mixtape, Harrison. I don't know if you saw. I was on the other team.
Unfortunately, we had some bad news at the Olympics for Slovenia, some good news for the U.S., so we will get into that as well. And I guess let's start there. Team USA, 97-78 over Australia. Team USA going to the offensive strategy that I asked them to go to,
right,
where Kevin Durant just shoots the ball every time. Greg Popovich has adopted that, and sure enough, Team USA is winning.
It was like one of those Golden State Warrior third quarters that Chris Webber was contractually obligated to acknowledge 5 times a broadcast. They absolutely put their foot down, and it was all KD. Drew Holiday had a great game as well. But yeah. Durant's ridiculous, man. It's just, as far as tough shot makers go, guys we've seen in our time watching the league, it does not get much better than Kevin Durant.
He's so far above everyone else on the court. Like, you're just watching this game. Yeah, he's obviously better than everybody on Australia, whose best players were Joe Ingles, Patty Mills, good NBA players, but not stars. Even on Team USA, he's just obviously such a level up from everyone.
He's in his own tier on that team for sure.
He's definitely in his own tier. So it seems like Team USA has it figured out. They're going to take on France in the gold medal game. Predictions? Does Team USA get it done? Do they get the gold?
I do think they've settled into, I mean, it may be not what they'd like to do or the prettiest brand of basketball or anything like that, but the shots are starting to fall. And as you mentioned, they figured it out, which is, okay, if it's not looking good, if we're not feeling this, just give the ball to Kevin and let him take care of the work. Because the reality is, when you have guys coming off the plane who were just in the playoffs, the finals 2-3 days ago, these guys are all pros, but coaching is almost futile in that context, right? I mean, how much stuff can you implement, right, in terms of the playbook?
Well, I think that actually might have been Team USA's problem early on. They were thinking too much.
Yep.
They were being too unselfish.
And trying to figure it out and play the right way. But I think when you have that short of a runway, as Team USA tends to, it's maybe you just give the ball to the best players and let them cook.
Yeah. So I think Team USA gets it done against France. I think they'll win. They're favored by 12.5 points. I like France to cover 12.5, though. I think it will kind of go like these last couple Team USA games have gone, where it's a tight, competitive first half, and then Team USA kind of breaks it open in the second half. Maybe they won't break it open as much, but I like France plus 12.5. I'm going to make that my DraftKings pick of the week.
Yeah, it's a good one. That line surprised me. I mean, France is competitive, they've beaten them already. So
yeah, they're not going to be lacking for confidence.
No, that's a really big line. That's a good pick. I mean, I'm going with Team USA, but to cover, I'm with you, man. Yeah. That's too big.
So DraftKings pick of the week, take in France plus 12.5 in the gold medal game. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Something I'm not excited about, though, Slovenia. They fall 90-89 to France early this morning, 5 a.m. I got to admit, I did not get up to watch that one.
I didn't either, but all the same, Rudy Gobert, thief of joy, and Nick Batum as well, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah, Kale, do you have the tweet I sent you of this Nick Batum game-saving block? Very reminiscent of some classic game-saving blocks like the one Tayshaun Prince had a long time ago. But let's take a look at this play.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see it
there's
now.
the block right there. If we can run it back, I want you to pause it right before he takes this shot. Right about here.
Oh, yeah, Caleb.
Look who's standing in the corner. Wide
Hey,
open.
we know that guy.
Yeah, look who's standing in the corner wide open. Vlatko.
Wide open.
So this game ended in a Nick Batum game-saving block. It could have ended in a Vlatko Čančar game-winning 3.
God, I thought we were robbed of just Luka versus Durant, but no, we were robbed of Vlatko glory.
Yeah.
And this wedding is horseshit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I noticed about that play.
I also do want to say, the only thing that stood out to you.
Yeah.
I like how you put that block up there with some of the neither of those guys got off the ground at all, but all the same, the context, very impressive.
Yeah.
Nick Batum, by the way, what a 2021 resurgence for Nick Batum.
I mean,
Did not have that on my bingo
that's
card.
what happens when you start trying.
Funny super chat coming in here. What does this team look like with Lionel Messi?
Yeah, I heard Messi's a free agent.
No, we're talking about the Denver Nuggets or Team USA, because I don't know which one's less likely.
Well, Team USA needs a point guard.
That's true.
They need an initiator.
Yeah, someone to
Isn't
create.
Messi
right?
like 5'6" though?
Yeah.
He'd be like some major Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah,
vibes
Messi is a
there.
tiny
Yeah.
king by one of the OGs.
Yeah. So Vlatko had 11 and 9 early this morning against France. He had a pretty good Olympics, I feel like. Had a nice 2-man game going with Luka. Was really good from 3 for most of these Olympics. Does what Vlatko did at these Olympics change anything for him with the Nuggets next season?
I don't think it does in terms of trying to project a rotation. I just don't think he's in it.
Yeah.
But in terms of how I view him, it was. I mean, it was really encouraging. It
Yeah.
was really cool to see him in that different role with more responsibility. And he looked pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Those times, like some of those bailout shots where he put the ball on the floor, I was like, I didn't know you could do that. Honestly, it was at first for me, it was just fun to see Vlatko get run. But by the end, I was thoroughly impressed. And we've probably undersold him at times when we talk about him as just like, well, he's a known quantity, right? We know what he is. He probably won't be much more or less. Maybe we've put too short of a ceiling on him. We'll find out.
Like, he doesn't have a ceiling as like a starter, I don't think.
No.
But he can grow into a ceiling of a really serviceable role player.
Sure, exactly.
So for me, I don't think what he did is going to change what happens next season with the Nuggets. Look, his best position is the 4. They're stacked at the 4.
Right.
I guess he can play some 3. I mean, maybe he'll get some backup 3 run. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's probably his best pathway towards minutes. So I don't think it changes anything with the Nuggets next season, which is a little unfortunate because I would love to see him play. I agree, though, with what you said. For me, I hold him in high regard.
Definitely.
Because he's obviously just getting better. He's improving.
Right.
I think he's a better basketball player now than he was last year at this time. So in my personal book, he's climbing.
Sure. I mean, it's interesting because I think Vlatko, he's what I consider like a tryout player, he's going to do things that catch coaches' eyes.
Sure.
Like, okay, he's just trying to make the back end of a rotation. And I've made this joke that's a real story all the time. I asked Vlatko like what he wanted to be in the NBA, and he said 10th man. Like, he really understands that there's maybe a role he can carve out for himself. But he also told me that that's come at a cost. Like, he's had coaches tell him to be more aggressive, right? To not be afraid to be himself. And so learning how to walk that tightrope is difficult.
It's also tough when that's just not your game.
Exactly.
It's probably never been his game.
It's never been his game. So I do think Vlatko has the superb awareness of who he can be in the league. And I think that at times almost pigeonholes him right into this. Okay, he's a break glass in case of emergency. You can play him. But you might do well playing him by the time, it's all said and done.
Yeah. So an unfortunate end for Slovenia, but it was fun watching him. It was fun watching him for sure.
I mean, what a run for Luka. It's
Good
not
run.
No surprise, right? I think anyone who's been watching him knows that he's capable of that, but just really, really cool. One of the biggest stories of the Olympics, right? If not the biggest one, how far he took that team, how well he played. And I hate to go all like Los Angeles media on the Denver Nuggets or whatever, but we were robbed, France. Like, what are you doing? I wanted Luka versus Kevin Durant.
You're pulling a Battle of LA.
Yeah, what happened to our Battle of LA, dude? No, I'll live with it. Should be a fun game for France. But
Well, I think France is as good as Luka is. I think France is the tougher matchup for Team USA.
It's a better game. It's a better game probably, but I mean, with the way Team USA has struggled to defend at times, I definitely wanted to see what Luka could do and just how motivated and jacked up he would have been for that game. Which I think, how you could really, he was so passionate throughout this entire run. That he was donning that jersey, representing a nation clearly meant a lot to him, and I just thought it would have been so cool to see him try to take the big dogs down. You
can tell it means so much to him and a lot of these international guys.
Yes.
This is just me. It doesn't seem like it means the same to Team USA. It just doesn't. It probably doesn't. We were talking about this in the Slack last night, and I want to talk about this on the show.
Jason Tatum? Oh, something else.
Not that. Well, you can talk about that if you want. Are you going to feel any pride if Team USA wins the gold medal?
No. But that's
like satisfaction.
I'll feel the satisfaction that they didn't lose. But that's sort of what being a Team USA, like following Team USA is like. It's almost, I've always wondered what that's like as like a Lakers or a Yankees fan. Like, do you enjoy this anymore, or is it just about not embarrassing yourselves, right?
Yeah.
And it sort of feels that way with USA. I mean, I expect them to win, even with all the factors we've talked about this year and a lot of the guys that are not there. It's still the most loaded team in the tournament.
It's not even close.
And they should cruise. So it's hard to be like, yes, we did it again,
I will feel zero pride. I will feel zero satisfaction if Team USA wins, because they're supposed to win. They're supposed to win by a lot. They're supposed to actually be blowing these teams out more than they are. So I do think it's a little similar, not to a way higher degree of like when, the Yankees or the Lakers win a championship. Obviously, it's not the same, but Team USA is supposed to blow all these teams out,
supposed to get this done.
They're supposed to absolutely walk to the gold medal. So it's tough for me to be like, oh, I'm so proud of Team USA, man.
We also don't really have, and I think Adam brought this point up, but from the Nuggets perspective, it's not like there's a guy for us to latch onto on Team USA, right? I mean, the way we would, of course, embrace Jokic and Team Serbia if that had happened. So that's part of it as well. But I mean, I'd wager most of the players feel the same way.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them care quite a lot. I'm sure they all feel honored to be there, but they expect themselves to win. I don't think this is like a...
Yeah. Another thing is, like, if you ask an international player what would they rather win, an NBA championship or a gold medal, I feel like a lot of them would probably be torn. Some of them would say NBA championship for sure. A lot of them would say gold medal. I guarantee you.
Yep.
If you ask an NBA player, it's 100% NBA championship.
I do... This last comment here in the chat says, beating Rudy, though, would be the only good thing about USA. Someone tweeted yesterday that if it's Rudy Gobert in the gold medal game, I'm about to become so patriotic.
Yeah, it was a great tweet.
Buying a flag.
It was a great tweet. All right, we got some Nuggets news that dropped this morning courtesy of Mark Spears. There's a new coach on the Nuggets Summer League coaching staff. I assume the Nuggets are still going to Las Vegas for Summer League.
We'll find out, won't we?
They should have a team there. But Kenyon Martin is going to be on the staff.
Was this on your radar? Did this catch you by surprise?
Yeah.
I had no idea. And this is awesome. I was thinking, obviously, we've got this mailbag episode today. We've had previous mailbag questions about the lack of like former players and stuff and assistants in Denver. Dude, Kmart for the Summer League staff, but how about Kmart for the future staff? No idea how he is, but I love it. I love it.
So I'm very excited to hopefully talk to him, maybe get him on the show. We'll see.
Possible friend of the show.
Because every time Kenyon Martin talks, I've talked to him twice in the last couple of years. Once was in 2019 when he came back, when the Nuggets had 2000s night, when Iverson came back, where Marcus Camby came back, Kenyon Martin came back, and he held court with the media.
He held court,
and
too.
Eventually he'll get to the fact that he just hates today's NBA defense. Like, it doesn't matter what you ask him, he'll get around to that at some point. And he just had this epic rant about how terrible NBA defense is. And then when I talked to him last summer, I just talked to him on the phone about the 2009 run when we were looking back on that rewatching those games. And he had a lot more fire quotes there. But I'm just excited for the defensive focus that he's going to bring to this Nuggets Summer League team. Like, I guarantee you there are going to be some epic stories about him in practices.
We've got a roster full of strengths, defense, weaknesses, shooting, coach Kenyon Martin.
Yes.
Buckle up.
Well, a lot of these guys seem like they could be Kenyon Martin players.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, I'm really excited, and yeah, man, you can tell when he talks about the game that he still deeply is passionate about it.
Yeah.
And so exciting to see him back, but then also just the connection with Denver. I think it's been a talking point on this show before, but you know, you go to a lot of these teams, you spend time in their arenas, it almost feels like a museum, right? An ode
Sure.
to you're connected to all the different eras of Nuggets basketball, and this one does almost feel like it's floating off in its own space, the Jokic Malone era. And so all these efforts to make connections, to build these relationships, it's just cool to see Kmart just attached to Denver.
I think Darrell Arthur was an assistant on the Summer League staff.
That's right.
A few summers back.
Yep.
Now Kenyon Martin. So Denver has done this before. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it adds a nice little element to Summer League for sure. He's
going to do a lot of screaming.
Yes.
I'm pumped already.
Over under 0.5 technicals.
Taking over,
Yeah,
man.
you got to. The other news item we've got to get to here in the first segment, Bol has been spotted. He's been spotted working out in what looks like not the nicest gym in the world. That was my first takeaway from this. I'm like, where is this gym?
Yeah.
I believe it's in Kansas City at Mid-America Nazareth
Wow, that's some
College.
research. Look at you.
or Nazareth University. Nazarene University.
Were you able to determine who he's playing against?
No. But I saw the logo. You could see it right
Oh, there we go.
in the next one, I think. Right, Pioneers.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So that's me getting dunked on. This is actually a fan vote segment.
Yeah, so it actually looks like it's in a couple different gyms, so maybe it was in a couple different ones.
So this is pretty much exactly what I expected Bol to look like in an open run against non-pros.
I mean, dominant.
Literally dominant. Three guys.
This is what
this one's my favorite.
Yeah, like, are you kidding? This is what it looks like when an NBA player goes to a college run.
Yep.
This is just what it looks like. I don't want to spend that much time on it. I mean, we've belabored the point about Bol on this team.
I think everyone now understands what Bol, like the
Yeah.
Bol thing. He is in fact quite good at basketball. Pretty awesome to watch, but you know whether he puts it all together, TBD.
My hope is just that he goes to Summer League, he plays in Summer League, a couple games maybe, and we can talk about him a little more.
I hope, and you know, maybe this is unfair, like body language doctor stuff, but I just hope I hope it when he's on the court, it looks like he's trying really hard and he's locked in and dialed in and wants to be there because he's so fun to watch. He shouldn't have to just be a novelty item. Like this guy could play, so hopefully we get to see some of
The
that.
thing with Bol, man, he's just got to play. He's got to play.
Yeah.
Summer League, G League, anywhere, he's just got to play. And it doesn't seem like that's going to happen with the Nuggets A team. Their G League team, that'd be fun, though. That'd be fun if he played in Grand Rapids. Let's hit a break real quick. And on the other side, we're going to, again, rank something else here. We told you what order the Western Conference teams will finish in next season. On today's show, we're going to tell you who will score the most points on the Nuggets next season and rank the players 1 through 10 in that regard. So we'll get to that on the other side here.
So Harrison, you know all about Ball Arena, the aerospace technology company. They reached out to us. They need help here in the Denver metro area at their Golden plant. They have floor manufacturing positions for production technicians. They're available.
Oh, yeah?
That's right, Harrison.
Oh.
They need to make more cans. Desperate need to make more cans. Yeah, so in 2020, Ball made over 101 billion cans. That's a tremendous amount of cans.
Yeah, that's a lot of
101
cans.
billion cans. That's a lot, right?
Yeah, that's a lot. So they're hiring production technicians to make even more aluminum cans?
That's right, Harrison. That's a good point. That's right. Yes, they're adding line capacity to their 400-person plant here in town at Golden.
Oh, wow.
Different town. I should probably stop saying here in town. The demand for sustainable aluminum beverage cans is greater than ever. And more than that, chances are, if you've consumed a beverage in a can, that it's been from a Ball aluminum can.
Wow, excellent. Did you know that aluminum is a highly sustainable material? Did you know that 75% of all aluminum that has ever been produced is still in use?
I did not. That's staggering. So they can just keep recycling aluminum over and over again?
Yeah. Pretty incredible.
And scene. That's ball. You guys know all about it. They're partners. Incredible stuff, Harrison. We should do that more often. More candidly, DraftKings. You know about DraftKings, right?
I do.
It's not only my favorite sportsbook, but America's top-rated sportsbook. Of course, we're talking about DraftKings Sportsbook. And speaking of America, the Olympics. You know all about the Olympics. If you haven't signed up for DraftKings yet, you should. Use code DNVR. You are eligible to place a pre-event wager of $1 to cash $100 if America wins any medal. The basketball team is going to do that, so go ahead and place that bet if you haven't yet. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits if America wins a medal. That's code DNVR to turn $1 into $100 in free credits for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
All right. Well done. Back here on the DNVR Nuggets podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Like Vogt just said, download the app. Use code DNVR when you sign up. All right. Let's rank something. We like ranking things on this show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Today, we're going to rank the Nuggets based on total points scored next season. So this isn't points per game.
Okay.
Because then we could be talking about, all right, Jamal Murray's going to come back. How many points is he going to score?
Sure.
Total points. Total points.
So Jamal's off the board.
Yeah. I mean, you could put him on the board.
I'm not going to.
You could.
I'm not going to.
We're going to rank them 1 through 10. And, I mean, number 1, it's funny. Do you remember last year? And the year before, where it was like, well, maybe this is the year that Jamal Murray leads the Nuggets in scoring. Maybe this is the year.
Now let's do it with Porter.
No. Miroslav will yell at us.
Yeah. Shout out to the homie Miroslav.
We'll get canceled in Serbia.
It is, of course. I think we're in agreement. It's unanimous. You can put Jokic on the board at 1, I think, Kale.
Yeah, you can definitely put Jokic there. He'll find a way. Now, MPJ is going to score a lot, and he's clearly 2 on this list. But I don't see him scoring more than Nikola Jokic next year.
No. They're going to go through Jokic as they should, and I know there's talk about maybe less Jokic minutes and places to find rest for him, which maybe they do. I'm sure they do. That won't matter. It'll still be Jokic by a fair amount. The margin last year, obviously Murray got hurt, so number 2 is Porter. The margin is like almost 800 points. I'm not going to do the math. Might be more than that. So it's going to be Jokic again.
It's going to be so interesting what the offense looks like next year because, with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, you always had the two-man game. You always had the two-man game to fall back on. That was just a money action every single time. With, MPJ and Jokic, they don't have that definitive, defining play yet.
Right.
I feel like it can be the DHO.
Yep.
We've seen them in the DHO have a ton of success where they can go into that action. MPJ can step back for a 3. MPJ can use it and cut to the rim. MPJ can pull up from 2. So that could be it, but I feel like that's going to be something to watch for. Like, what is the go-to action with those guys?
Right, and in the regular season, that worked. They did, they were developing that 2-man. It's just not the same thing as a pick and roll game, which is, we just say the pick and roll, that's the action, but it's the intuition and the chemistry of Murray and Jokic, and all about counters, right? I mean, no matter what the defense tries to take away, those two guys know how to go to something else, play off each other's strengths. I think with Porter and Jokic, it's still, they've got 1 or 2 options, and as we saw in the playoffs, that can be sealed off when focused on.
Is there a chance that pick and roll develops this year, though? Like, this is their first full off season going in knowing they're going to have to be the 1 and 2 there.
The thing is, that's never been Michael Porter Jr. though.
Right. Exactly.
Even in high school, he didn't really play in college. He's never been a ball handler in the pick and roll. That's never been his game. He's always been that guy on the wing. So it's a good question for sure. I'm sure we see way more of it than we have so far, and I hope we see way more of it. But it would surprise me if by the end of the year we're like, oh, the MPJ Jokic pick and roll is
right.
Flawless.
And I know Porter plays the 3, or it's a little interchangeable alongside AG, but like he's a forward and really in many ways a power forward, and that would be a unique 2-man game and unlikely. But I do think we're going to see MPJ find more ways to get involved than just standing and waiting for a shot, as we saw that start to happen last year.
Well, it's also going to be interesting to see, like, how much does MPJ just try to get his on his own?
Yep.
And how much do the Nuggets try to kind of retool their offense so it's 4 guys around Nikola Jokic? I don't know. I'm going to be really interested to find out for sure.
Look, there's a chance. I mean, it can be overstated, but a full offseason when that hasn't happened yet for Porter, and there's a chance he comes back and does look like somewhat of a different player and is ready to rock. So, yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Number 3 on this list of who's going to score the most points for the Nuggets next season. This one's pretty clear in my opinion. Is it clear in your opinion?
Will Barton III?
Yeah, it's going to be Will Barton. He is the clear third option, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think even when everyone was healthy, I thought Barton was actually the 4th option, and Gordon was really that defensive specialist with some athleticism and found a way to score in between the cracks. But Barton, and it'll be Barton more so this year. We talked about that 2-man game, that pick and roll. Obviously, Monte, we expect him to have a great year, but it'll be Barton and Jokic down the stretch of a lot of these games, I think, with regards to that 2-man, that pick and roll game. Yeah. So a lot of responsibility on Barton, and this is why, just with regards to this season in a vacuum, I always called Barton essential. He's going to need to be the third leading scorer.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good point. At the end of games, you're right. It used to be Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. It could very well be Will Barton as the initiator. And I think you've got to feel pretty comfortable with that if you're the Nuggets.
Yes,
you trust Will Barton in the pick and roll. I always go back to when he played backup point guard for this team a couple years ago. That was the season where they lost game 82, I believe. But he was very good in that role. I mean, he is a very sound pick and roll player. He can make reads. He's a threat to shoot it out of that. He's a threat to get to the rim. He's obviously a good passer. So you've got to feel comfortable with him there.
And I think to that point, I think he and Jokic feel comfortable in that spot.
Definitely. And that's also why it was so big to bring him back, because you've got to have as many players around Nikola Jokic that are comfortable and know how to play with him. That's a big thing to the Nuggets offense. If you just have that feel, if you just have that muscle memory of, okay, this is how I play around Nikola Jokic. Right. Barton knows how to do that.
Although, let's just put Jamal's timeline straight up at a year. That means he's not back till next year's playoffs, probably. Monte, an entire regular season at the point guard position, or is there a chance he's here at that third place if Jamal's injury takes a long time?
It's a good question, Kel. I think it's what makes this next slot really interesting. I'm curious where Wind goes with 4. I do think, we seem in agreement. I do think it's Will at 3. But, yeah, the 4 is an interesting question for that reason, Kel.
I've got Monte at 4. I've got Monte at 4 because of what Kale just said. He's going to be starting at point guard for most of the regular season. And just because of that, he's going to play a ton of minutes. He's going to play a ton with Nikola Jokic and Michael Porter and Will Barton. He's going to get a ton of open shots. And I think we saw last year in the playoffs, a more aggressive Monte Morris than we have before since after Jamal Murray went down. I really feel like when that injury happened, he kind of looked at himself and was like, all right, I got to be more aggressive. And I think he was. And, he had some big games once Jamal Murray went down. And I think he's the choice at number 4 here.
Certainly capable of it. But I think he knows what to do. Obviously, he already got paid by Denver, and I think it's just going to be hey, I'm here to help you 4. Obviously, that will include plenty of scoring, and I think this margin's tight, but I'm curious if part of this offseason has been this coaching staff and Aaron Gordon sort of thinking about trying to figure out how can he be a bigger part of what they do beyond just praying that the jump shot falls. So for the sake of variety, I'm going to put AG at 4 personally, but I think we can leave Monte there.
I also just want to point out that Jokic and AG haven't ever had an off season together, nor have they really played together where they've had practice time. So what we saw last year, while very promising in the short amount of sample size we have, we don't even really know what AG looks like as a cutter when he knows Jokic ball.
It's a good point.
Truly knows Jokic ball.
There might be more to learn here, yeah.
We've gotten it in some glimpses.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who AG did spend an offseason with this summer was Will Barton, apparently.
Someone conspiracy theoried that they were filming a music video together, and I wish that was true. I wish that was true.
So, I mean, yeah, the AG question is fascinating because I've got him at 5. I could see him at 4. Like, I think 4, 5, 6 here, or 4 and 5 will be very close together. Like,
I do as well.
These guys will probably average around the same. But if I'm the Nuggets, man, there's got to be some pet plays in their offense for Aaron Gordon next season. And I think we saw a little of this. Again, things I always go back to, but there was that one playoff game against Portland where they got Norman Powell in foul trouble really quickly by just going to AG in the post early in the first quarter. And I could see Denver doing some stuff like that again this coming season. And in the back of your head, you always got to be thinking about, all right, this is a contract year for Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
This is, his opportunity to get a new contract.
That's a great point.
You wonder how that factors in. Also, does that make him be more aggressive and look for a shot more on the offensive end?
So who are we officially sliding in at this 4 and 5 spot?
Let's go Monte at the 4.
Go AG 5.
AG 5, although I think it's going to be really close.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, now it gets fun.
At 6, yeah.
Now it gets fun.
Who are you thinking at 6?
I may have been Ryan Blackburn pilled here.
Yeah.
But Jeff Green? Could Jeff Green come in at 6?
So I was thinking about Jeff Green at 6. We can put Jeff Green at 6 for the sake of this. I was also thinking of Dozier there. But Jeff Green, here's what Jeff Green did on the Nets last season. 11 points per game in 27 minutes. So he played a lot. I think that's more than he's going to play in Denver. I don't think he's going to play 27 minutes. I'd say more like 20 to 25 at the most. Pretty much what JaMychal Green did last season. I think JaMychal Green averaged like 20 a game. But he can fill it up. Jeff Green can fill it up if he's out there. He's going to be aggressive. Like, he shoots it when he's open. He gets to the rim. He's a very capable offensive player. So if he's the Nuggets' first big off the bench, if he's ahead of JaMychal Green in that pecking order, which I think he could be, I think he could be 6 here.
Yeah, he's a slightly more useful and I guess relative to the bench versatile player than some might think at this stage in his career. And also you look at that bench and I think, okay, there's some shooting depending on how they do this. There's some size if they do decide to go that route with Najee. But there's still not like a scorer. There's still not like a go-to guy. And I wonder if Jeff Green can sort of be that in a de facto role. So
go-to guy.
I mean, not like as it means off the bench. Like they just don't have a traditional sort of 6-man scorer.
Right.
And someone's going to have to step up and be a finisher. Although I guess Austin Rivers could figure into that as well. Part of this is that I still haven't figured out what that bench looks like.
Sure.
Can I throw a hot take out there?
Please, Kel, please.
Or just make an argument for Zeke Najee in this spot?
Do you want to make the argument or are we?
You can if you want, but I think, I don't know. I like Zeke Najee. I think he's going to be the true number 7 man once Jamal Murray gets back. And if we're playing without a lot of Jamal Murray, that slides him up to the 6th spot, in my opinion.
Yeah. Look, I'm a huge Zeke Najee guy where this is a big Zeke Najee podcast.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show. He's been on the podcast. So I thought Zeke Najee should have played last year. I think, before these moves were made, he should be in the rotation this coming season. And look, maybe we get to a point at the end of the year at the trade deadline where Denver trades a JaMychal Green because Zeke Najee just needs to play. Maybe I wouldn't think they would trade Jeff Green because he's, in my opinion, going to be a more valuable playoff guy than JaMychal Green. But, maybe there's a move made to free up minutes for Zeke Najee because I think he's good. I think he's ready. And I think you should play him. So I don't see it happening. But if he did play, if he was in the rotation from game 1, I could see him being around there.
By the way, just look this up. Jeff Green did play 68 games last year, finished with 750 total points.
Durable.
And that would put him, obviously there were injuries, Barton only played I think 56, but that would put him 3rd on last year's total or 4th rather, excuse me. So it's him at 6 is not a stretch really. I mean, I think it's on the table.
Yeah. Next up, this is the guy I think could be 6th also, but PJ Dozier, who if you're looking for your classic 6th man, for when this Nugget season starts, PJ Dozier is probably that guy. I definitely think he'll be, in most situations, the first sub off the bench. Probably. And last year, PJ Dozier, 7.7 points, 50 games, 21.8 minutes. I could see him playing a little more than that this season. So I think he could average, maybe around 10 points or so, maybe a little more. But I think PJ is going to look to be aggressive because I believe he's in a contract year as well. Still hasn't gotten that big NBA payday. And he's not going to be a top option in Denver, but I think we're going to see a really aggressive PJ Dozier season.
Yeah, and I think we see a lot more of PJ Dozier. So I think he comes in at 7 as well. He played 8 fewer games than JaMychal Green last year, scored about 85 fewer points. So if he is playing more, if he stays healthy, I absolutely think he makes that jump and he leapfrogs him. And that's a good point. I mean, typically that 6-man thing, as I was trying to articulate, is a guard.
Yeah.
And we've seen Dozier get hot. So, yeah, I think he's capable of doing much more, and I do think he comes in at 7 as well. But that does puts JaMychal Green at 8.
Okay. JaMychal Green at 8, who, all things considered, I think had a really solid year for Denver. Like people, I even feel like on this show, the JaMychal Green kind of status line just stayed the same, just very flat the whole season. Because, yeah, he had some good moments, he had some bad moments. But all things considered, I felt like JaMychal Green was exactly the player that we thought he was going to be.
Yeah, and you're right that, high peaks, low nadirs, shout out D-line. But ultimately, there was an irony to the nadirs in that you look at his season at the end and you go, oh, yeah, okay. That's a JaMychal Green season.
Yeah. And he'll be that same player next year.
Yep. And that's what he is, right? Like a 7th or 8th best player on a good team, on a very competitive and championship caliber team. So I love that about JaMychal Green, that you can more or less pencil him in for a certain amount of production.
Yeah. So next up here at number 9, I've got Facu. Who 6.1 points per game last year. He's going to play a lot of minutes as well. He's super durable. We know Michael Malone loves Facu. I don't see a scenario where he falls completely out of the rotation. Maybe his role is diminished at times, like it was at times last season. But he's going to play.
And he's going to play a lot while Jamal's out.
Yeah, just kind of walk himself into a couple buckets every now and then.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Did not score a lot, not looking to score a lot, but going to play a lot, and primary ball handler off the bench. I mean, he's gonna have opportunities to score, at least just off those catch and shoot threes. He is the 9th person I had as well. I am curious who your 10th is, though.
Well, the 10th guy I had is just simply the 10th man of the rotation.
Whoever's left, whoever played.
And I think I've got Austin Rivers in that spot. Who would you have?
Yeah, well, it's the same. I don't know who's going to play. So I'll say Austin because I think I can see Malone going to Austin 2, PJ3 more than Najee Green. So for that reason, I'll say Austin.
Yeah, I mean, the other choices are Zeke, Vlatko, Bones Highland, Bull, and we don't really know what's going to be with Jamal next year. So, yeah, I think Austin's the choice because I think out of all those guys, you can project him to play the most. There's a lot we don't know about next season. We don't really know for sure what the bench rotation is going to be like. JaMychal Green's going to be in there. Jeff Green's going to be in there. PJ Dozier's going to be in there. Facu's going to be in there. Who's going to be that last guy? I think most likely it's going to be Austin Rivers. Most likely.
And you'd think, I mean, not that we would know, but Austin Rivers coming back, you'd think there's some dialogue about, no, the opportunity will still be there, right?
Yeah.
Although maybe didn't have a ton of offers. Who knows?
Yeah.
But this is my biggest question heading into the season is who is this person at 10? Is it Austin or Zeke?
Yeah. What do you think, Kale? Any big disagreements on your end?
I think it's absolutely insane that Zeke Najee's not on this list.
Yeah. But all right, you recognize that it's on the premise that we don't think he cracks the rotation. But is that the part you think is insane?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I understand how he's not on this list. I just don't think there's a world where that happens.
Sure.
Like, if we get to the end of next season and Zeke Naji plays this coming season as much as he played last year, that's going to be a huge disappointment. That's going to be huge. He's got to have a bigger role than he did last season.
I mean, it just wouldn't make sense. I mean, it was limited minutes last year, but Zeke looked like a plus defender as a rookie.
Yeah.
So if we're not seeing him in year 3, that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, look, Wynn's brought this point up earlier, too. Like, we are all trying to narrow this down to a 10-man rotation, and perhaps it simply isn't one, right? Especially if and as they try to rest Yoke here and there. Maybe it just is the case that 11, 12 guys play a fair amount this year, whether it's just matchup dependent or who's hot or who needs to get some run, and maybe they shuffle that around.
Yeah, I hope they do. Knowing Michael Malone and how rigid of a rotation he likes to keep, I'd say that's still unlikely, but I do think this coming year there's a better chance they do that and expand the rotation and rest people and make sure everybody's fresh. There's a better chance they do that this year than last year, probably. But we'll see.
I agree.
I think that's one of the big storylines going into next season. All right, let's hit another break, and we'll get to the mailbag portion on the other side of these amazing reads that Brendan Vogt's going to pull off right here.
You heard of Solace Meds, dude?
I've heard of them.
They've got some banging deals in the month of August. Here's a few of them. Dixie Elixirs, 2 for $30. That's actually a sweet deal. Sincerely. Spectra, 20% off. Ripple, 20% off. Full transparency. I don't know what that means. I don't know what Ripple is. I'm going to Google it, though, because it's 25% off. Silver Shelf Flour, 15% off. And if you head into any location, you can get a free Solace bar or King Cone when you mention the code as well. That code is DNVR20. Oh, you thought we were done? That also gets you 20% off. You can stack these deals together. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you're going to the dispensary, make it Solace Meds, for the love of God, and just scream at them, DNVR sent me, and just throw your money at them and yell DNVR20 at the top of your lungs. Solace Meds.
That's a great endorsement right there.
That got away from me.
That's great.
I got a nice little message from Lindsay that I messed in this read up. I'm not going to mess it up today. Chevalier Mortgage. You guys, it's stressful trying to buy a house right now. Shout out my producer on the fan vote, Aaron Patterson, who bought a house. Thought it was so stressful to own a house that he sold it 2 weeks later. That's a true story. Hit Aaron up about it. If you've attempted this process,
Did he want that said publicly?
Probably not. If you've attempted this process, you know exactly what we're talking about. The housing market is crazy in Colorado. Let Mike and Virginia Chevalier take the burden off this extremely difficult process. They'll alleviate so much stress and worry off your plate. They also have a fun perk for DNVR listeners. If you visit them at DNVRmortgage.com, you can enter to win a free DNVR shirt or hat of your choice. Most importantly, get set up with a free consultation to discuss all your options. That's DNVRmortgage.com. Call Virginia directly at 303-257-6578 or visit DNVRmortgage.com. You could also call Mike directly, 970-412-2472. That's Michael Chevalier, NMLS number 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS number 1910631.
Boom.
And finally, it's always a little disappointing to do these reads without Eric, who hates being the center of attention of this read, and I make him that every time.
I know where this is going.
Talking about Hassel Cattle Company, that blue collar beef that's so damn good that we had to get it for you here at the DNVR Bar. You can now order Wagyu burgers. They're delicious. By the way, Hassel Cattle Company is giving away $200 gift card and cooler to one lucky winner. Did we give that away already? I thought I saw someone win that the other night. I could be wrong. But it's easy to enter. Just head to DNVR Sports Twitter page and click the link to our pinned tweet. It's free. You can win money and a fantastic cooler. Plus, you get notified about all their best deals. Speaking of deals, Hassel is hooking you up with 10% off your entire purchase. Just use code DNVR10 at checkout. That's DNVR10 to save 10% every single time.
Yeah, we've got it at the DNVR Bar as well. So if you're in the area, stop and get a burger. Get a burger with that delicious Wagyu beef.
That good stuff.
All right, we're back here on the DNVR Nuggets podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. We didn't get to it on Monday because we had a busy show on Monday. But time for the mailbag.
I love this,
Let's
dude.
go the
Just
mailbag.
a little two-man mailbag.
Yeah, a little
Let's
two-man
crush it.
mailbag.
All right, we'll start off from our guy at Borgen BJ.
This is a very leading question, but I think he's preaching, so I had to. It
All
seems
right.
like everyone is lower on the Nuggets ceiling for next regular season. Have we forgot Nikola Jokic is a walking top 4 seed on his own. That's a badass description. We also have an emerging star in MPJ to go along with an amazing team chemistry full of veteran guys that know their roles. I think our friend Borgen is correct. We did that show yesterday, and I think there's a ceiling on it. Did I have them 5? I think
we settled on them as 5.
On 5. But I think he's right. I mean, like, I'm not going to be surprised if they walk away with a 4 seed again. That roster is a very good regular season roster.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about this on yesterday's show. 1 through 13, they have guys who can be NBA role players on probably almost any team in the league. Everybody on this roster outside of Bol Bol and Bones Highland, I think, can be a role player, like on a pretty run-of-the-mill NBA team.
It's NBA talent.
Yeah, they've got a lot of NBA talent. They've stacked this team with NBA talent top to bottom. So from that aspect, yeah. Would it really surprise me if they were top 4? No, because they have the talent and they've proven they can win without Jamal Murray. That's what they did at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Best record in the NBA since Jamal Murray went down at the tail end of last regular season. They beat the Portland Trailblazers
in 6
without Jamal Murray. So it wouldn't surprise me. I pegged them as the 5 seed, but is the 4 seed in reach?
Of course.
Totally.
I think part of it, too, is maybe we're trying to take into account maybe Jokic rests a 5th game or whatever here and there or whatever the case may be. It's less about getting that 3 seed and more about development and health and all that. But I liked that question because I think the notion that, this team's going to take a big drop off, it's been overstated.
Yeah.
All right, let's dig around this mailbag, Kelsey. What else we got?
All right, next coming in from our guy, Magic Kimura.
If Jokic won the West vote for All-Stars this year and was team captain, who do you think he would pick first?
Giannis.
I don't know. I knew we were both going to say that, but Giannis. I think it's an easy answer.
What if Giannis is the top vote in the East?
Okay. Good question, Kel. Does he just go Luka? I don't know. Am I just doing the international thing? I have no idea. Do they have any relationship?
Him and Luka? Yeah. I mean, they're the
Balkan boys.
Balkan brotherhood.
Yeah, I would say Luka maybe.
Yeah, I've got some breaking news on the pod here that we've got to talk about. I just am about to tweet it out here, so just give me 1 second. But the Nuggets have made an addition to their summer league roster. Jimmer Fredette is back.
Whoa!
Jimmer Fredette is back and on the Nuggets summer league roster.
Whoa!
Breaking news. Do we want to slot him in here on like top 10 in points next season? Jimmer Fredette, who has played on the Nuggets summer league team before, is back. Davon Reed from Miami also added to the roster, but not as big of a deal.
No, let's stick on with Jimmer.
Jimmer Fredette also. Some good news. Nuggets are expected to practice tomorrow afternoon.
That's great news. Just get one in. Just get one in real quick.
Yeah.
There's a training camp. The vibes are restored. I see people freaking out in the comments. Guys, that's a summer league invite. They're not necessarily clearing a roster spot here.
No.
But I do think the makeup of this team now, it is 75% Kenyon Martin players, in fact coached by Kenyon Martin, and then Jimmer, Marcus Howard, and Bones Highland with no practice time. This is officially my favorite basketball team ever assembled.
So this is really exciting in one way. Is any part of you a little worried that he's going to take away playing time from Bones and Marcus and Caleb Agata, our guy?
Yeah, like, why is this happening? That's a reasonable question. Because, if you're not really thinking Jimmer can be a part of the NBA team, then why does he have to be a part of the summer league team? So that's a fair question. Yeah, I guess so, man. I guess there are guys I'd rather see play, particularly Bones. But also, I like summer league legend stuff. And I want to see one of those 3 guys score way too many points. And now I feel like that's on the table.
Yeah. I mean, this team's going to be very watchable. Absolutely watchable. Jimmer Fredette, man.
Malone, someone just said Malone they really want the summer league trophy this time around.
Charles Klask. We need some more talent on this team,
That's
Tim.
right.
some more talent.
Help me. If I'm not going to get a training camp, can I at least get a gymmer?
So, wow. Jimmer Fredette. See you in Las Vegas.
All right.
But maybe the bigger story is they're expected to practice tomorrow,
I was going to say,
great news.
Buried the lead. That's
Great
awesome.
news.
That's
Yeah.
good. So
First-
I think we'll pencil them in for being there next week.
Yeah, first 3 practices canceled, but they're getting in a practice tomorrow.
That's good.
The day before they fly to Vegas.
The day before they leave.
Maybe the day of that they're flying.
Good luck, Charles. That should be a productive practice.
Good luck, Charles. All right, let's. Do we have any more
We
questions?
We do.
Last,
Two more, right?
Sorry. This one's coming in from, I think it's Dustin Koss.
Sure. Would you give Marcus Howard a 2-way deal if he wanted to accept one? Do you think he would accept one?
I think he really wants a standard NBA contract. I think he really does. And, I mean, the Nuggets' MO over the last couple of years has been you play well, you're a good soldier, you put in the practice time, you're coachable on a 2-way. Yeah, we reward you with a standard NBA contract. Nuggets have a full roster right now. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with Bol Bol. Maybe there's a trade that happens. Maybe a roster spot somehow opens. It's tough because I like Marcus Howard. I think he can be an NBA player in the right situation. The Nuggets would be, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have a backup small forward on the team, though.
Right.
No?
Right. If we're clearing roster spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like Marcus Howard as a player, as a person.
Seems like a good dude.
He's the type of guy you want to have in your organization for sure. He's
had a
worker.
playoff moment. Crazy.
Yeah. He stepped up in the playoffs.
It does feel redundant in multiple ways. In terms of tiny guards with some electrifying scoring. They just drafted Bones Highland, who's bigger. In terms of just tiny guards, there's already Facu. So it just starts to feel a little bit, does it make sense for Marcus Howard to be in Denver anymore? And given the roster spot situation or the lack of a roster spot, I think the answer is no. So look, I wouldn't mind the 2-way. I wouldn't hate it, but I don't know if it's necessarily what he's looking for. So,
Yeah.
all right, I think there's one more piece of mail in this bag here.
Last one coming in from Tay1_Denver.
Yeah, we already talked about this a little bit, but the first one is the first part of this question is the question of the summer. What will the primary bench lineup look like?
The question of I feel like it was the question of last summer, too.
It's the same questions. Who is the 3 and what is the bench?
I mean, we think it's definitely going to include PJ Dozier for sure. I think he's if you want to have a 6th man, he's probably that guy just because he's versatile and good. Is Jeff Green also going to play for sure? JaMychal Green, I think, will also play for sure. So that's definitely 3. And then you've got Facu.
I think we know 4. If it's if it's strictly 10-man, I'm going to guess, as we did earlier, that it's Austin at the 2 and PJ at the 3. But I will say this. Look, there was a little, sort of 3-man kind of musical chairs going on at the end of the season last year.
Yeah.
I do think we see some of that. I think Zeke gets mixed in here and there. Jeff Green a little older. Like you don't need him to play every game. So I think Zeke gets some playing time, but if you had to boil it down to 10, I would say he just misses out.
Yeah, so last year they had the musical chairs at the 4-5, the backup 4-5.
Yep.
Paul Millsap, JaMychal Green, and JaVale McGee. And it's funny, like after every game, Michael Malone went out of his way to say, before every game, I'm just really proud. I have a lot of respect for how those veterans have handled a situation that none of them like. I don't know if he said that verbatim, but he was pretty much leading on that those 3 guys weren't happy, not having regular minutes penciled in.
Yeah.
They weren't happy with the fact that, okay, one night it could be JaVale, one night it could be Paul. He was pretty much saying without saying that they weren't happy with that.
Yeah.
But if you were to do that this year and you throw Zeke into the mix, you probably could do that because Zeke Naji's younger. He's probably not going to expect to have regular, standard, rigid minutes every single night.
He'll be happy just to be playing.
Yeah, so you could do that, but we do know Mike Malone likes, if he can, to have a regular rotation.
I mean, these guys care about rhythm. rhythm is the word I hear all the time in that locker room, or used to when that's what we did. But it gets difficult. That was one of the things MPJ told me before he cracked the rotation was just how hard it was. Remember, he said he needed to have a conversation with coach in Philadelphia, and it wasn't just that he wasn't necessarily in the rotation. It was just that he never knew when am I going to play and where, and it's hard for these guys.
That's correct on one aspect. It's got to be tough never knowing. But what do we hear about all the time when a bench guy steps up and has
got to stay
game?
ready.
Got to stay ready.
It's true.
You got to stay ready. That's just kind of life for young NBA players,
And to that point, man, Zeke's a stay ready guy.
He's an absolute stay ready guy. So yes, it is really tough when you don't know what your minutes are going to be. We know that is what it is, but staying ready is another aspect of it. And I think if you're the Nuggets, you've got the utmost confidence that Zeke Nnaji is going to stay ready.
Yeah, apparently he hasn't left the arena since the season ended.
He's living in Ball Arena.
By the way, someone tabbed me in the chat. I didn't get a chance to respond. Just a question about, do I think MPJ is worth the max? And I think it's just structurally, it's so similar to the Jamal situation. When you're a team like Denver, if you think he's going to become a max player, then you just give it to him now. Mm-hmm. You ease the tension. And do I think the guy we saw in the playoffs last year is a max player? No. But do I think MPJ is going to grow into one? Yes. And so it's pretty simple for me.
I agree. I think he is a max player. And look, the small max contract slot, because there's like 3 different types of max contracts when you have, I don't know exactly what it is, 0 to 5 service years, then 5 to 10, then 10 plus. You get different max levels. The lowest max is still like tradable. It's not this gargantuan number. It's not Chris Paul making $50 million a year.
No. And more to the point, like you're not signing talents like Porter Jr. So when they fall to you at 14, you do what you can to keep them around and figure it out later.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for the mailbag questions, guys. We are going to do another little mailbag portion for DNVR members only behind the paywall with questions that we got from the DNVR Discord. So
I believe Jimmer Fredette's on this.
Yeah. Did that register yet? Jimmer Fredette on the Nuggets Summer League team? Man. So if you want to listen to the members only one and you're not a member, go to thednvr.com, sign up for a membership. If you are a member, that's where the members only podcast will be posted on thednvr.com under Nuggets podcasts. So yeah, we'll see DNVR members there. For everyone else, thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with Casual Friday. Talk to you guys then.